Good morning, all my sweet and wonderful friends. This morning I'm sitting here, slow stitching. Again, I love my slow stitching, and I've got different projects going together. But this one here is Kantha stitching. I did some research to learn about Kantha stitching. And these two pieces of fabric were two pieces that I got in Happy Mail, and I put them together, wrong sides together. This was already quilted for me, or pieced for me, and so and then this piece was in the same Happy Mail. I love all them little cats on there, and I thought I'm gonna do my first Kantha stitching project using these two pieces of fabric. Now, I don't know, once I get the whole thing stitched, what I'll do with it. I don't know if, actually it makes a really good size here for a placemat. Maybe I could put a border around it for a placemat, or maybe I will just cut it apart and use pieces. I don't know. But for Kantha stitching, for the most common, wait a minute, I gotta show you something first though. Let me show you something first. I got a couple things for show and tell. Show and tell. This here, oh my gosh, I got yesterday a Happy Mail. This was my Happy Mail. It was all of this embroidery floss, all of this already on the little bobbins. There's bobbins in here that are empty that I can use, and these are all, this lady said she used to do a lot of embroidery cross stitch, but now she's just doing quilting, and so she sent me, just look at the colors. She sent me all of her embroidery floss that she's not using. So, and it is just so much in here. There's just so much. And look at that yellow, how bright and pretty it is. And then that purple and yellow, I think, are so pretty together. And so she sent me all of this. And so, and that is a blessing, because I have been going through so much. Her name is Marie. Her name is Marie. She said, you said on your show that you use floss more than anything, so I'm sending you floss from years of leftover cross-stitch projects. I've done through the years. I still cross-stitch, but my love is really quilting. Hope you enjoy. Blessings, Marie, sharing the love of Jesus. Now that was sent to me by Marie. She didn't give me a last name, so Marie, I thank you so much for this. This is amazing, and even with the box that will hold so much once I get it all wound. Well, I don't know if I'll get it all wound, but I usually wind after I have a partial skein left. So I thank you for that. Okay, and then I want to update a little bit here with my canvases. I kind of showed how I was starting to stitch on the canvas. And so I think when I showed it to you the other day when I worked on it, I had like the flowers on here. And then I started putting this pinwheel on here. And then I started just putting, with different colors, putting French knots just all the way around. And it is really not even any kind of a pattern or anything. I just started putting different colors, and I said, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just do this French knots all over this whole thing. I'm just going to cover every piece. Well, of course, not the frame, because I can't This is as far I can get to the edge because it's wood underneath. And so, but, and then I'll decide what I'm going to do with the frame. And it's just going to just be a whole bunch of color. It'll have the flowers on there and it'll have a whole bunch of color. But see, I got some French knots up here, and I'm just going to keep going with this on the days that I just feel like making French knots. That's what I'll do. And so that's that one. And then this one, I started doing this one on my live stream. Well, for some reason it's cattywampus. It's not really round, but that's okay. It's okay. And then I went and just started doing, kind of going around in a mandala fashion with different colors and different stitches. And now this one is definitely not symmetrical. It's just crazy. It's a crazy mandala, which I like crazy mandala. I'm gonna keep going with it though. I'm gonna keep going. I don't know what I'll even end up with this, but I don't have a plan for it, but I'm gonna just keep going. So I started the middle with yarn, and then most of this in here is embroidery floss. Then I went again with yarn, did a chain, but then I did some weaving around the chain, and I think I want to put beads around it, and maybe no telling what I'll put around it. But I'm going to keep going around on this and see what I end up with, and that's pretty. But one thing I do is I have a stencil for a mandala, it's a 12 by 12 stencil. I think I'm going to take one of my, I've got a couple more of these canvases, and I think I'm going to use the stencil. I'm going to actually draw the lines for mandala on that one, and just so that I can have it more symmetrical and work on that one. But I don't work on anything until it's finished. I go back and forth. I've got my apron going on. I've got this. Now I got interested in this Kantha stitching, and so I'm working on that as well. And all the Kantha stitching is two pieces of fabric put together, wrong sides together, and then a small running stitch across the whole piece. Just a small running stitch, and you just keep. Now see, this is something that I would probably work on for, oh, maybe half an hour, maybe a little longer, but then I would have to switch to doing something different. And so I'll set this up, and then I will work on something different. But when I do this, I find it easiest to do it on a flat surface. So there are some that do like large pieces, like a whole throw cover or something with large pieces. And I don't know if maybe they put them on a frame or whatever to do it. That I don't know. But I I'm doing mine this way. And if I wanted to, I could make a bunch of these and stitch them all together, make a quilt. But this is very lightweight. Okay, now Kantha stitching, it comes from way back in the 1500s. And what they used in India, it originated in India. A lot of our stitching and a lot of really awesome things have originated in the Oriental countries, and India. India is very, very popular for their stitchings of different kinds. But Kantha stitching, when they first started doing this, they would take like old used sari fabric, used saris that were maybe worn from use, and they would take pieces and they would back them together with the, with the wrong sides together, and then they would stitch the whole thing to make different different items to use. There's different kinds of Kantha stitching. There's different values in Kantha stitches, and this one here, doing this just like this, just this plain, ordinary, most common, is, if I have this right, it's the Decora. It's a double-sided Kantha stitching. So both sides are finished. Both sides are usable. And one thing I think would be so awesome with the Kantha stitches done this way is if you were going to take it in, because once this is done, I can cut this apart into different pieces. But if you were to be making a snippet roll, but when you're using the Kantha stitch process, you can work on your snip. I could cut this apart on every row here of this, and then I could stitch them together in let's see, 2, 4, 6. There's 6 rows there. I could maybe cut 2 rows, 2 rows, and 2 rows of these squares and put them together as a snippet roll and start a snippet roll. This way you have a back and a front. So then once you add things, if I were to do it that way, I would probably, anything that I added to the front side of the snippet roll, I would add with just a common thread, just a regular thread, a lightweight thread, so that it would, all that would show on the back side of it then is just the lightweight thread. This here thread is probably old as Methuselah. It's been around a while, as you can see. It's just, yeah, it's old. And so, but I'm using it. And I'm just going to use the same thread on through. Well, I say that, but I have got my multicolored thread too, and I might switch. I may switch before you know it to the multicolored, because I do love the multicolored. Okay, then there is called a Lep Kantha, L-E-P. Lep Kantha is made for like a coverlet, like a coverlet, or a like a throw blanket. But now a Lep Kantha has actually, they're heavily padded. They will have some kind of padding on the inside, but maybe not, like not a, oh goodness sakes, not a, not like wadding or something. It would be like, then they have the silks from the saris, and then maybe the fabrics from a blanket in the middle, in the center of it. And they make that, when they do that and make it of a heavier weight, then they call that Lep Kantha, L-E-P. And I gotta get me another bit of thread on here. Let me see, just a minute. Let me get me a little bit of thread on here. I haven't had my coffee yet this morning, so I can't think very well. But boy, I get up in the morning and here I go starting to I get right into... These are self-threading needles, and I put the needle down on the table, and then I put the thread on the table. I said, okay, needle, thread. And they just sit there. They're not self-threading needles. You have to help it. But this one's got like a... Just a minute here. I got to be able to see this. There we go. You know what I should do? I've been double threading it. I don't really need to double thread it. I need to single thread it. I have some more self-threading needles that I just got in a, which I gotta find them again though. And they were a gift sent through Amazon, and I can still find the little papers, but there was 48 self-threading needles, but they self-thread from the side, and I don't know what I did with them. But then that's normal for me not to know. I've got the papers still sitting on my dining room table where the girl said to ask me if I would please put in a good word for her, and I will put in a good word for her, but I sure hope I find the needles. That's 48 needles, and they're self-threading, and they self-thread a little bit easier than these ones. Okay, now where was I at? Now that I got this one here, now that I got this needle threaded, and you want a lightweight needle too here on this. A lot of my other stuff I've been using a heavier needle. These ones are embroidery needles, self-threading needle. Oh no, it doesn't. Self-threading needles assorted. Easy to thread. No, I thought they were embroidery needles, but they're not embroidery needles. They're just plain old needles. Plain needles, and those were sent to me as a gift. Thank you too much, and that was from Allie K. I thank you so much for that. Okay, and then there is another Kantha, which is a Sahani, S-U-A-J-N-I, and I call that a Sahani Cantha. And those are, they are pieces of cloth used as blankets or spreads on ceremonial occasions. Now, I'm not sure, because they're ceremonial occasions is what makes them the Sahani Cantha, because still the stitching is the same. And so I'm thinking that I have to study a little bit more. I like to learn about where things originate and how things are done. And so when it is, maybe they use a new silk maybe, or just a more valuable silk maybe. I'm not sure. But it's a Sahani Cantha, because Kantha means rags. So you sew rags together. That is what the word Kantha means, is rags. Then there is a Baiton, B-A-I-T-O-N. Baiton Kantha are square wraps used for covering or wrapping books and other valuable items. These are elaborately patterned and have several colorful rows for the borders. Now, that's Baiton, B-A... I got my notes right here. This is not memory. I wrote my notes. When I study something, I always have to keep notes because my memory isn't the best in the West. And so, but these, what they call the Baiton Kantha, they now, if you have like a special book, you might have your Bible or your religious book or a diary or something that is really special, and then you want to wrap that. You read it, but then you wrap it. you wrap it gently and put it somewhere, or you have maybe a special, I don't know, a tray that you use only on very special occasions, and you want to protect that, then you would have this beautiful Kantha stitched, a Baton Kantha, it, that you would cover or wrap those books or valuables. And they will be elaborately patterned and have several rows of color on the borders. So that is more elaborate. So I'm thinking, when you have, if you have seen a lot of I have not ever had any big pieces of sari. I've only had sari strips and sari silk ribbonish kind of things. But a lot of the sari fabrics are very, very much embroidered and a lot of handwork on them. So my belief then, by studying, is because these are made from rags, they are made from fabrics and things that are no longer in use, then the more elaborate, like the edges of a lot of saris, are filled with beautiful, beautiful handwork, beautiful weaving, and those pieces, I believe, are what they're referring to as the elaborate ones. And so, and then colorful rows of stitchings for the borders. And that was the Baton Kanthas for wrapping your valuables. Then there is Or. It's spelled Oaar Kantha. And now the Or Kantha is what they use on pillows and such. And so you have the so if it may still be just this regular Doroka Kantha, but they put it together with a pillow, making a pillow, and then put the stitching or the borders around it, and then they call that the Or Kantha. And let's see, there's 7 kinds, well 8 actually with this. So then the next one is the Archuleta, Archuleta, Archilata, Archuleta Kantha. And these are small pieces that you put together, and you put these together to use in your bathroom, in your ladies' room. And you have them for covering up your toiletries and things. And let's see, small rectangular covers for mirrors or toilet accessories with wide, colorful borders and assorted motifs. So the borders that go on to Kantha stitching are important to be able to know one from the other. It's the borders too. And so it's really all this same stitching, but done on different ways and on different things. Then there is a Durahani, I think, Durajuni. I will guess that is Durahani or Thalia, Thalia Kantha. These are small rectangles with central lotuses designs and embroidered borders. 3 corners are turned in to form a wallet. So there you would have a lotus, maybe an embroidered piece that you would have embroidered already, a flower or something, They say lotus. I don't know. Maybe they just do a lotus flower, but it says a lotus design. So I'd have to look that up too. Is exactly what is a lotus design. So you embroider on your piece a design, but then do the kantha stitching all the way across the whole thing after you've already embroidered that design. So it's like you're stitching on top of the stitching. And I can see how that would be pretty. And then they turn it, and it said that they will turn 3 corners to form a wallet. And so what I'm thinking is that it would be like an envelope, like you would fold the corners up like an envelope on 3 sides, and then have a wallet with the most beautiful side being on the outside of your wallet. And then the last one is a rumal, R-U-M-A-L, rumal kantha, which is small squares used as absorbent wipes or plate coverings. These also feature a center lotus and ornamental borders. So, and those are used for like absorbent wipes or plate coverings. So I'm almost thinking of maybe I know in some countries, some customs, you have like a linen napkin. When you're finished eating, then you put your flatware on the plate and you cover the whole plate up with your napkin. That's when you're finished. That's when the help or the cook or mom or whatever knows you're finished and can take your plate away because you've covered it with your napkin. So that might be one of the what they mean by plate coverings. But I'm also thinking that a lot of times, like we here in our country anyway, in the United States, we cover like a bowl of biscuits to kind of keep them warm. We kind of wrap our biscuits or our muffins at breakfast time, put them in a basket, but it's also, they're covered to keep them warm. And so that might be the idea too. So there are many kinds of kantha stitching, but it's actually, the actual stitching is the same, but the uses for the kantha, I guess this is more like the uses for the kantha stitched projects. And so, and like I said, the kantha means, the word kantha means rags. So you take your raggedy things. Well, they can't be too raggedy, or you wouldn't be able to stitch them suckers together. But it's, you would use up everything. You're using up everything. I gotta get me a drink of water here. You have to excuse my water bottle. But I feel so bad for Aunt Jemima. Poor old Aunt Jemima. This is my water bottle. Just a minute. They changed the whole name. You know, Aunt Jemima, one of my favorites. There's my ladies, one of my ladies. Aunt Jemima. And there's Biddy Crocker. And there's Sarah Lee. I got my favorite ladies. And they're the peoples that help me in the kitchen. They help me in the kitchen. And then now that you can't get these bottles anymore with Aunt Jemima on them. No. They threw her out. They kicked her to the curb. Why? There's no reason. I don't understand it. It bothers me. So I have 2 of my bottles well, I have this one emptied, and then we still have another one that still has some syrup in it. When it gets empty, it's going to be another one of my water bottles. I'll just fill it up with water, because we have excellent drinking water, comes right out of our spigot. And we have our own well, and we get spring water right out of our well. So I fill my bottles up, put them in the refrigerator, and I always got cold water. And so I'll have 2 Aunt Jemima bottles. I got perfectly good bottles, though. I got this one here. This one's still got ice in it, but you know, I got some good drinking bottles. Don't think that I'm like needing bottles to drink my water out of, because I have plenty of bottles. But yeah, that's just my water. That's just my complaint of the moment. One of my kitchen ladies. I mean, I got my ladies. I got my ladies in my kitchen. And the Quaker Oats dude, he's in there. And some kitchen people. Don't take their pictures that have been around forever. Makes you just fall in love with them. And just say, I don't think they even call it Aunt Jemima anymore. I think they just call it, sure, I don't know what they call it, but yeah, that bothers me. That just bothers me. And so anyway, okay, we'll quit complaining about that one now. My Aunt Jemima, that's my aunt. Jeez. But anyway, okay, that's what I wanted to tell you. That's what I wanted to tell you this morning. I just wanted to share what I learned about the Kantha stitching. And I'm going to be working on this one for a while, because now see, I have found I do a lot. I have spent every minute of my day right here in the book. In the book. What the heck did that word come from? Book. In this room, and stitching and doing whatever. But lately, because I'm getting older and feeble, I'm getting feeble. I spend time in my reclining chair. And so, if you saw the area around my reclining chair, I am a mess, I'm telling you. I have got on one side of me, well, I've got a lamp on each side of me that shines right into my lap. And then I've got my rolly cart. I got one of my Rascog carts is out there, and that's got just stitching things in there for hand stitching. And then I have a couple books out there. I've got fabric pieces out there. I've got embroidery floss out there. Maybe my needles are out there somewhere too. But I have to have everything that I need out there, along with everything I need in here, so I don't have to tote it back and forth. But one thing good, though, about getting some of this stuff out of my way right here for my hand stitching is then when I want to sew on the sewing machine, because it's right over there, then I have space for myself on the sewing machine to get to the sewing machine, because I got a couple things I want to do. There's a couple things I want to do still on the sewing machine really soon, because I have this grandchild in the oven, and whenever the grandchild comes out of the oven, bun in the oven, the little he or she is going to need to have things. He or she is going to need to have beautiful things. And so I went through my patterns, and I picked out a few. What did I pick out? Oh, see, like here is a bag that goes on the back of a stroller, so you have things in it. And I want to make one for my walker too. And then this one's just like pocketbooks, but then this is like diaper bags here. And then there's a changing pad and stuff in this one. And then this one has got a like you can put in the grocery cart before you set the baby in. And you can put this into the grocery cart, and then they've got a little cover you can put on the chair, and there's a bib, and there's a this, and there's a doll, and there's a the whatever you call that pillow, and a blanket. I don't know why you'd need a pattern for a blanket, but oh, and there's a pattern for a carrot. Oh yes, I'm sure the child is going to need a carrot. And so yeah, I have got some things in my plans plus my rag quilt. I bought the flannel to make my rag quilt for the baby. And so since they're choosing not to know before the baby comes if it's a boy or a girl, my flannel is in like grays and yellows. It is so cute with elephants and stuff, the gray elephants. And so that's what I'm going to use for the rag quilt, and I need to get on that real fast because the baby's due July 1st, so I don't have a lot of time. So, and I know without my things, the poor baby will go naked. Not really naked, because I know her other grandma, or his other grandma, will. She's very much spoils children too, but I don't think she makes a lot of things. I think she's a professional shopper. And so that baby's going to have plenty of beautiful things. And so, but what I'm giving is all going to be handmade. And so, hopefully, I get those done in time. So there, I kind of crinkled it up on that corner there. But that's what I wanted to show you. I wanted to just talk about the Kantha stitching, and it is really it is really awesome because you can take almost anything that you have done and Kantha stitch over it. And I mean, if you did some other stitching, you can Kantha stitch over it, and you bring out a whole new look to it. But basically, what Kantha stitching originated as is taking your rags, taking pieces of old saris, sewing them together with the sari fabric on both sides, nothing in between, just a lightweight, and just stitch the whole thing together to make the two pieces of fabric that were getting a little threadbare or whatever. You put two pieces of fabric like that together, and then you have a good piece of fabric to use again. So it's the recycling, the reusing, and it started over there in India in the 1500s, and now we are bringing it all back to life, and I think it is a beautiful, beautiful look. And so that's just what I wanted to tell you today. And I'm going to continue. You know, I think I'll go put on a pot of coffee. But I'll read something because just it's what I do. Let me see. Oh, no, just read that one. Make every day special. Let's try that one. Okay. Make every day a day to celebrate life and be thankful. Take time to pull yourself away from all the noise and just look around you. Take inventory. Appreciate those who have enhanced the quality of your life, and remember that they have been a gift to you. Also remember that you're a gift to them as well. Be grateful for the choices you've made, both good and bad. Accept your mistakes. You can't change them anyway. Appreciate yourself and your own uniqueness. Go outside and look at the sky. Soak in the atmosphere. Enjoy the colors of the landscape. Feel the textures of every place that you are thankful for. Smile at the world. Don't allow any negative feelings to creep into your consciousness. Feel the power of your own acceptance. Put a positive spin on every thought you have. Make every day special. Own it. Enjoy it. Bask in the glory of life. appreciate the gift of your own life. And that was written by Donna Fargo. And I like this one a lot. Very, very good. And uh, and to know that, you know, the good times in your life and the bad times of your life have brought you to where you are today. You learn from good things, you learn from bad things, and you put all those together, and that creates who you are today. And and like I say, you've got to love yourself. You love yourself first. You care for yourself first, so you can care for others. So with that, I will say, have a wonderful day. God bless you all. May God watch over you every step you take, every move you make, and I will see you on the next video. God bless and take care. Stay safe.